But make absolutely no mistake, you're not coming down here wearing your flip-flops. And you also don't want to come down here wearing shorts. You want to make sure that you're covered because you are walking through something that I literally said has been hacked out of the forest here. And so, you know, you've got your poison ivy, you've got your poison this, poison that, all those poison things that are around. You've got roots along the trail floor. So your footwear is going to be important. I wouldn't even, honestly, well, I've got my Blendstones on, and I wore them because there's a bit of a base on them, and I could get some stability. But a pair of running shoes in this environment, and definitely sandals, would be a big mistake. And so there you get a sense of another curve in the river. Anyways, I got mosquitoes and black flies after me like crazy. I made sure that I wore a long sleeve shirt, and I've got long pants on. And so I wanted to make sure that I didn't come out of this place full of poison ivy and full of mosquito bites and black fly bites and snake bites and bear bites and all the other freaking bites that a person might be able to come across in an environment like this. From what I understand, the trail is 2 kilometers in length. I think I probably covered maybe half of it. It veered away from the river and went back up into the bush, and so that's where I called it a day. If there's something more spectacular happening that way, I'm going to let Radisson and Groseilliers discover that for me, those 2 famous French fur traders. Or I'm going to try and find the other trailhead that exists over by the National Archives. So there might be a way to get to this trail through there. And if there's any spectacular shots, spectacular potential photography shots, then maybe I'll find them from there. But I'm good for here. What I'm dreading is that is when the trail all of a sudden goes vertical on me and we have to make that climb back up to where the car's parked. My car is parked on Forest View Crescent. I don't know what that's going to look like if this becomes a popular trail. I don't know how many people would be on this thing at the same time, but I'll say this, if there's any more than 5 vehicles up there, it will start to be a problem, I would think, for the people who live at the end of Forest View Crescent. Unless, I was talking to one gentleman who lives right along the trailhead, right beside it. And he says if that happens, he's going to do the Lansdowne Park thing and start charging for parking. And, you know, I mentioned he might want to get a lemonade stand going, maybe a barbecue. You know what I mean? Nothing more satisfying than coming off a trail after a tough hike and you got a lemonade stand and some guy cooking hot dogs for you right at the very end. Now, maybe you won't need that because maybe you packed yourself a nice picnic lunch and you're going to, you're going to find an area, not this area, but you're going to find some spot along here. Now, apparently they're going to put some picnic tables along the route so that you can take a bit of a break from your exploration in the woods. And that's good. I don't know where those picnic tables are going to go. There are some riverscapes, as you can see, but it's nice. The Bone Cher isn't really a tier 1 river, like the Ottawa or Ottawa and St. Lawrence are 2 different kinds of beasts of rivers. But the Madawaska is a tier 1 river as well, as far as I'm concerned. This is a very shallow river. It's a very much a brown water river, as most of them are. This appears to have a current in it. Well, I know for a fact it has a current in it because I went swimming one time and got on my back and closed my eyes. And when I opened them, I was like 100 yards downstream. So yeah, there's a current. But in terms of spectacular photography or that kind of thing, I'm sure it exists in here somewhere, but I'm not picking it off just yet. I mean, yeah, okay, so you've got that and that looks nice and stuff. But like I said, you're looking at a tier 2 river here. Better than nothing. I applaud what they've done here. This is a good idea. This is a good thing. Nothing's being hurt here. There's no expense that's being wasted here. It is a community effort. There were a lot of people who volunteered their time to come in here and sort of, as I said, hack this thing out of the wilderness. And in particular, Enright Tree Services donated an awful lot of time and equipment to come in here and make this somewhat passable. So taking advantage of the experience that those folks have, and it's very much appreciated. What you want to do though when you are walking through this area, and here's one such place right here, is you want to make sure that you scan the ground in front of you, which is precisely what I'm not doing at the moment. This is kind of a nice spot here. I can stop and share this with you, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. If you're going to put a picnic table up in spots like this, you're going to have to do a little more hacking to get the ground level to find enough space to put a picnic table. Also, there's going to be like benches and that sort of thing, park benches where people can stop and contemplate the beauty of nature and perhaps write a poem or maybe a haiku or something nice like that. Nevertheless, I don't see this being the busiest spot in town. I know they're opening it up. The grand opening is going to be July 1st. So there's an example of what you want to look out for, where you've got a route coming across the path. And those things are absolute killers. So, I mean, if you want to break your ankle or sprain your ankle or have a bad fall, as I said, this is not for the faint of heart back in here. And also, I don't know what kind of wildlife is back here. There's always a possibility that there might be a bear or two, so you'd want to be making sure that you're making noise. I think I'm making noise as it is. I don't have any bear spray, so if it comes down to me and a bear back here, well, I guess it's my tripod and myself, and I just freaking, okay, case in point, when they chopped this thing out, they didn't, it's almost impossible to chop it out perfectly. And so there's an awful lot of remnants of little stumps and minor little tree stumps that are still embedded in the trail. And so, as I said, you'd want to make sure that your eyes are pretty much focused downwards when you're back in here.